Hey everyone, welcome to Otaku Talk. It's me, your boy, your host, OD, and today we'll be reviewing and analyzing chapter 345 of My Hero Academia. This was a dope chapter. Can't wait to get into it. Know I said it all the time, but we are really shaping up to see something awesome going on here. If this is your first time on this channel or you've been here already but haven't done so already, please do me a solid, like, share, subscribe, tell all your friends about me. Would mean the absolute world to me. Trying to get this YouTube thing up and rolling and would mean the world. Once again, new studio. My pictures kind of got messed up in the move, but I'm planning on putting them up. I'm gonna, like, you know, where that alphabet thing is, maybe put up my my little portrait of me as like Luffy that my friend made, and then put the Naruto one up on that hanger, but my frame broke. But yeah, there's a lot of cool things I think I can do with this studio. It's not going to be a permanent studio. It's only going to be around for like, I might be living here for like 2 months, but you know, got to make it mine, got to trademark it, give that Otaku Talk feel, you know what I mean? Anyway, without much further ado, let's get into this review. All right, My Hero 345 Division. So we start off where we left off last chapter, and we have gathered all the like villains in like a cage, right? Immediately Himiko is like, we need to break out, and not even 3 seconds pass and they break out. But it doesn't matter, the cages weren't meant to hold them there, you know, the entire time. They were just, the point of the cages was simply to group them. And the reason being is because now that they're grouped, we can just take them and push them in to the Monoma's portal, right? So immediately, as soon as they get out, Monoma has the portal open up behind them. And what I believe happens is the heroes kind of just push them through. Maybe I don't think this was ever really displayed, but I think, you know, Monoma has the power to like kind of suck them in like a black hole maybe, but it also kind of seemed like the heroes were pushing them through, right? And so, by the way, can I just say Monoma looks like an evil, like, looks like a villain in this, the way he's just like cackling, having the time of his life. Speaking of Monoma, something I want to address. Yes, I lost my bet. So I don't know if you guys saw my last review, but I basically said, Monoma, you're a side character, you're never gonna do anything again. And I was just being hyperbolic. Like, literally after I shot that video, because I did it like, I was in a hurry. I like had time over the weekend to think about it, because I didn't release that video. I shot that video, I want to say on like Friday, but I had mad complications and things going on. And by the time I ended up releasing it on like, what was it, Monday or something like that, I realized, you know what, that was a stupid take. Because not only can he constantly move around, you know, various heroes, he can also evacuate heroes. He can also bring in any reinforcements anytime they come, possibly going to other countries. He has his time limit, but if he keeps going back to Tartarus prison or whatever, he can keep re-upping on Kurogiri's power and stuff like that. So we can definitely expect to see a lot more from him. So I was giving him a lot of shit just because of how hype he was getting, and I still think he needs to, you know, calm down, know his place as a, you know, tertiary character, if anything. Not even gonna give him secondary, but he probably will play a big role in this as well. Also, it kind of sucks that while there was clearly a plan, right? Certain heroes were supposed to go through the portal with some of the villains, and then some of the heroes were supposed to stay here. And when Deku tried to go through, it looks like Himiko grabbed him with you know, her little like needle rope or whatever and pulled him out. So that is going to put a big dent in their plans. It took me like a quick reread to realize exactly what happened, but yeah, their plan is kind of, I don't want to say fucked, but like it's greatly deviated. Also, can I just say how fucked up it is that they were going to leave Uraka and Froppy? And look, I'm sure that there are other heroes around, but from what I could see, they were gonna leave Uraka and Froppy to deal with a bunch of high-end Nomus and like Himiko and like who knows who else. So that's kind of fucked up. Because, you know, don't get me wrong, Froppy is dope and she's highly like maneuverable and stuff like that, but combat wise, what is she going to do against high-end Nomu and someone like Himiko, right? As well as whatever villain, whatever other villain is there as well. And Uraka, trust and believe, I love me some Uraka. I love me Uraka. But like, she can only really make people levitate. And you know, with these high-end Nomus, a lot of them have flight abilities, movement abilities, and stuff like that. Being lightweight for them might actually be an advantage. So unless there were some other really capable heroes around, they were kind of screwed. So I think it might actually turn out to be a good thing that Deku is here. It's going to suck because obviously they're going to need a lot of his power to hold down All For One and stuff like that. But you know, I'm assuming even though they told Monoma to go back to to regroup up with Aizawa, that he's going to be back to maybe check on the situation. We'll probably see, oh, Deku is not with them, let me port him over. And that might happen, you know, at some place during the fight where there's a good moment, a good intersection for Deku to be like, all right, everything is handled here, I need to go to where I am needed. So phase 2 of the plan has officially started. Majority of the villains have been transported to a new location. We don't really know where that location is, but I'm assuming it has something to I'm assuming it's around Troy, or like I'm assuming that is a location that they decided would be optimal for this fight, and it's going to factor in a lot next chapter. We're going to find out exactly where they took them, and you know, just stuff like that. And so something I fucking loved was the moment that All For One comes through on the other side of this teleportation. Immediately Hawks tries to decapitate him. It is crazy, bro. Like, you guys remember that Hawks, even though he's a hero, he's secretly like kind of an assassin. Like, he's a hero that's purpose is to kill people. So I love the fact that like literally right off the jump, he tries to decapitate All For One with the sword, tries to end this arc right here and right now. Unfortunately, that would be way too easy, and All For One is wearing some kind of protective helmet / neck guard, and you know, Hawk says, you know, he doesn't have the power to cut through it. I'm wondering if he doesn't have that power because his wings are kind of small right now, or if he never really had that power and they're just trying to say that like whatever he's wearing is like super durable, possibly on some like adamantium shit, that, you know, maybe we're gonna have a great moment with Deku later where he like goes like All For One 1000% and like crushes it. I would absolutely love for that to happen. So All For One, you know, is doing what, you know, villains do, monologuing, talking all that hot shit, and basically telling, you know, Endeavor like, pretty interesting plan. So okay, so your plan was to what? Separate us or whatever, but like, did you really think even separating us would be a good idea? Because all you really did was dwindle your already dwindling, you know, amount of heroes down even further. And do you really think that individually you can beat us? And you know, honestly, as much as like shit that he's talking, he does provide a very fair point. Like, can they actually handle them as is, especially now that they don't have Deku, right? So this is a very scary situation for the heroes, but I wouldn't count them out yet. Also, we get a little bit of exposition into All For One's quirk. Apparently we did see it before. I'm wondering if we, the reader, saw, or if it was just the heroes, but he calls it the sludgy teleportation quirk or whatever, and we learn about its strengths and weaknesses. Actually, I would just say more so of its weaknesses, and that is the fact that, one, it can't teleport people as far as Kurogiri's. It basically, we're told straight off the bat, it's a lesser form than what we have. So that is awesome for us. So that probably means, you know, All For One can't just, you know, teleport them super far away. If he does try to teleport them, one, it looks a lot slower, it looks a lot clunkier. So it's something that the heroes can either stop, mitigate, or deal with, especially with you know, Monoma in the reserves, you know, being able to coordinate with him, right? as well as the fact that this is probably the biggest advantage that we have, is the fact that the user can't teleport himself. However, I'm assuming, you know, he obviously has, you know, some kind of transportation, maneuverability quirks or something like that, possibly wings. What we saw, why'd I forget his name? The other Shigaraki, what we saw Shigaraki use earlier, because, you know, we do know that All For One copied his quirks and gave them to Shigaraki, so he should, unlike Shigaraki, who lost a lot of his quirks thanks to Stars and Stripe, you know, All For One still has all his quirks, so he probably does have a lot of ways to escape if he chooses to do so. Also, he's talking mad trash about, you know, Endeavor leaving his sons to fight each other. Speaking of his sons fighting each other, can I just say, as someone that doesn't watch JoJo, this is the most JoJo panel, obviously JoJo panel, I have ever seen in My Hero Academia. Like, literally, you have Shoto and Dabi standing across from each other, and literally Dabi looks like he's about to do the "oh, are you approaching me" like line. Like, it literally looks like, I'm gonna have my editor do like a side by side. It literally looks like the "are you approaching me" meme. And that is way too funny, and I refuse to believe it is a coincidence. If it is nothing short of an intentional little like thing that the mangaka threw in here, because it's just, I'm looking at it now and it just looks friggin' brilliant. Like, it looks amazing. Oh, so quick side note, by the way, it does turn out that we do know where they were. I forgot about the line. They're at Gunga Mountain, which, if you can't remember, is it Gunga or Gunga? Anyway, regardless, if you can't remember, that was actually the main headquarters and secret, the main and secret headquarters of the original Liberation, the Paranormal Liberation Front Army or whatever. I always mix up the words, but yeah. So I'm wondering the purpose of why the heroes brought them here. Also, maybe I'm assuming that there are some traps and stuff that the original owners had set up that our heroes are going to utilize. Next up, we have one of the coolest panels I've ever seen. They have turned UA apparently into a flying sortress of sorts. Like, you literally see the entire of UA floating in the sky. Like, you see like some kind of anti-gravity kind of gear underneath it, and then on the tops, completely surrounding UA, you see like this massive barrier. So that looks super dope. That looks super futuristic. And I'm just like, Jesus Christ, that's amazing. And unlike other like shonen and stuff where I would normally see that and just be like, that's awesome, there's one villain way earlier in this chapter that calls the heroes capitalist pigs, and I honestly lost my shit laughing. I was like, who are you? Like, that actually cracked me up. But like, when I saw that flag, like the flag UA fortress, I literally went, okay, you capitalist pigs, like, who paid for that? That is amazing. That is a feat of like amazing science and technology, engineering and ingenuity, because that is impressive, because they have already established in this universe that like things don't just happen, like just random technology doesn't just, you know, emerge out of nowhere. Like, no, it takes a lot of money for stuff like this to happen, and the principal is apparently very rich from like, I think, trademarks and other stuff and inventions and other stuff he's done. And probably, you know, they probably got a lot of government funding, because, you know, if All For One succeeds, won't be a government to like do anything with. So I'm sure they got government financial assistance as well. But yeah, in that moment I was like, yeah, how much did all of this freaking cost? Because yeah, the principal is on some like Bruce Wayne budget type shit, if you know what I mean. So I thought that was really cool. Also, speaking of the one dude who called them capitalist pigs, he says something about anti-decay like measures, and I'm kind of confused, because I'm like, why do you need the anti-decay measures? Because aren't you the ones with Shigaraki? So like, that, I don't know, that perplexed me a little bit, because like, if anyone needs anti-decay you know, countermeasures, it would be the heroes, not the villains. So I'm wondering how that's going to loop into the story much later. But yeah, man, we have so many great fights set up. Like I even saw what's his name, Aida there. I can't wait to see who he fights against. I really am excited for the Shoto versus Dabi fight, because from what it seems like, Dabi has like some really hot fire that like Endeavor and Shoto can't compare to. So I'm wondering if Shoto is going to be able to overcome that fire, if he's going to have fire that burns just as much. Maybe this fight might leave him wounded himself, because he decides to, you know, try to go to the height of the flames that Dabi has, and he ends up injuring himself. And maybe seeing his brother injure himself or go down the same path he did maybe softens, you know, Dabi's heart. Or, you know, maybe Dabi's heart doesn't get softened, but you know, he's able to clash. One thing that I would really like from this fight isn't for it to be just some kind of like easy cut and clean, you know, oh, you know, what's it called, like Shoto beats Dabi. Like, I want it to have, you know, I want it to be thematic. It's really sad, like I think it was 2 chapters ago where we kind of were sympathizing for Dabi and Himiko, and I would really love this fight to be a moment where it's like, Dabi, it doesn't have to be like this. Please come back to us. You're my brother. I love you. I want us to go get Udon together. Like, he made that very clear. Like, Shoto made it very clear that he's willing to rectify things with his brother. Now, granted, I don't think that's going to happen anytime soon. Dabi definitely is going to have to do some prison time, but at the end of the day, Endeavor was a fucked up father, and he led Dabi down the wrong path. We kind of have like an Anakin, Darth Vader kind of situation here.
He told me you killed him. No. I am your father.
No. Where, you know, things didn't have to be like this. And so if there is any kind of redemption, I really hope that Dabi can get it, because, you know, this is just really sad. It's just really sad that like they're a family torn asunder, and I would really love for it by the culmination of all this, for all of them to reunite and like figure shit out, because it already is clear that Endeavor has huge regrets into what he's done. Also, I'm wondering how much of a factor Todoroki's ice will play into this fight, and being like a countermeasure to Dabi. You know, that would be really sad. That would be really sad, because like Shoto is essentially Endeavor's greatest creation, and so if, you know, because of his ice he is able to defeat Dabi, it kind of gives, you know, credibility and justification to what Endeavor did in the first place, and that would be kind of fucked up. So anyway, this chapter ends with, you know, Bakugo realizing, uh-oh, Deku's not here, and so he shouts to Best Jeanist, hey, something's wrong with the plan, you know, Deku's not here. I believe he was supposed to be the one to handle Shigaraki possibly, while the rest of them handled All For One or switched off or something along those lines, but Deku got pulled out by Himiko. And Deku is super confused, because he's like, my danger sense didn't go off at all, because if it had, you know, maybe he could have avoided it. But we all know that Himiko apparently doesn't have hate in her heart for Deku. She's kind of crazy and has convinced herself that she loves him and all this other stuff. So maybe that's how it was able to circumvent the properties, the warning factor of danger sense. So I'm really curious to see what's going to happen here. I really do, as much as like I would like to see how Deku handles Himiko, I do think this is like a fight for Himiko and Okaku. Both people that both people that have a thing for Deku, that have an attachment, an attraction, love and respect for Deku. And I think that, you know, Deku obviously is going to do some things, is going to have some clashes, but a lot of his story arc around this point is going to be trying to get back to where Shigaraki is, going to be looking for whoever is in charge of communications at this time and place, maybe Earjack or someone, or I don't know, whoever they have to relay a message to Aizawa or Monoma to, hey, Deku is stuck over here, he needs to get over here. I'm also wondering how far Gunja Mountain is from their current location, because maybe, you know, maybe Deku can hit that 100% one for all and just fucking sprint there, because we know that like All Might couldn't fly, but he would just like run and sprint and like could get places like that. So I'm wondering if Deku can do that. I doubt it. I think it's gonna all revolve around like the plot device that is Monoma's ability to teleport people, and the fight is going to last as long as it takes for Monoma or Aizawa to figure out that Deku is not where he's supposed to be. I'm really hoping that their communication system is on point, because this is a big fuck up that needs to be rectified. So yeah, super awesome chapter. Super excited for what happens next. I don't believe there's a break next week, so we're going to find out immediately. So what did you guys think about this chapter? What one-on-one matchups are you most excited for? I'm very curious as to who Bakugo is going to fight. That's going to be super interesting. I wonder how Deku is going to handle this Himiko situation. I've you know, a feeling a lot of talk no jutsu is going to happen. But I really do want to see like a moment where Okaku's like, no, Deku, you go, I'll handle this. Like, something's been bothering me and I want to like deal with it right here, right now. So that would be super cool. I'm very curious about Himiko's power. We do know that she got Twice's blood, so I'm very curious about her making a bunch of clones using Twice's blood. And then I'm wondering, I was told that, you know, when Twice can make clones and stuff, it retains the power of the person he originally had. So I'm wondering if they're gonna do a really cool thing. I mentioned this in one of my other reviews. If they'll do a really cool thing where all the clones use like a different power that she's stolen, right? So that would be dope. Anyway, I'm gonna leave the review here for now, but super exciting chapter. Can't wait to see what happens next. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. And yeah, thank you for tuning in. This has been Otaku Talk, and I'm your host, OD. Please make sure to like, share, and subscribe if you like this video, and just try to support me. Anyway, have a great weekend. Take care. Peace.